excited because we've got one of my favorite people on the planet with us today, Elaine R Davis. Elaine, how are you doing?
I am amazing, Joe. Thanks for having me on your show.
I love, you and I have gotten to be such good friends. And I honestly think anytime I become friends with somebody, I want people around me who are going to raise me to the next level, right? I want to be surrounded by incredible people with incredible mindsets doing incredible things. And just asking you how you're doing and you replying with amazing, not good, not okay, not all hang in there, but amazing says so much about you right off the get go. How do you keep that positivity?
Well, I think it's super important to have an amazing, positive mindset all the time. I haven't always been as positive as I am, but
No.
I find that the happier I am, the happier people are around me. And you can accomplish so much more with a positive attitude. So it serves me very well.
It's contagious, isn't it?
It is. It is. You're contagious for sure.
Well, you want to be. I mean, you get that. I get that from you, right? I get that from a lot of people. And when I say I get that, I mean, I get the happiness from you. You come with words like amazing and positivity, and your voice inflection is high and your energy is high. And that fuels me. And I feel like, man, I want to give that back to other people. So when you do it to me, it makes me want to do it to you and everyone else. And like I said, it's just contagious. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Thank you. I get
Yeah.
excited for my life. So I think when you're
Yes.
excited and passionate about things, other people are too.
So one of the reasons that I brought you on, I think this is so cool. And a lot of people that watch this are realtors, right? And they're seeing you in your first year coming out, and man, you are hitting home runs. There's not an event I've gone to. There's not a day I'm not on Facebook. There's not a day I'm not on Instagram where I'm not seeing you, hearing about you. You're not leading some sort of big event. You're running charities. You're on boards, whatever it is you're doing. I feel like you're everywhere. And they're thinking, man, how does she do it? So I'm going to ask you, how do you do it?
Well, I think that's a very loaded question. And I would say it's one task at a time, one day at a time. One of the biggest things that I've had to learn to do is really manage my calendar.
Yeah.
And of course, having my calendar in play is super important, but also allowing a little bit of wiggle room for flexibility. Because when you have a lot of events to go to, or you're doing a lot of showings and you have multiple listings at the same time, you are at the whim of other people's schedules as well. And, life doesn't always work out as planned. So I think remaining flexible and leaving that wiggle room has helped me be able to do more things.
So you talked about time blocking and really managing your schedule. And I think that's one
Mhm.
thing, especially going into a new year, right? A lot of people have got their goals, they got their business plan, they're excited, they got that motivation they don't always have. So looking at 2022, if you're a realtor watching this and you're saying, man, Elaine is kicking butt out there, I want to kick butt like her. She said time management's important. What one or two time management tips would you give any new or struggling realtor for this coming year?
So similar to what I just said, I mean, I just think it's so important to have number one, you know that you're going to go to certain events, whether you are, let's say, an ambassador for the chamber like I am. You know that you need to be there every first Tuesday. You need to be at the breakfast every second and fourth Tuesday. So you have to put those in your schedule well in enough advance so that if somebody's asking you to do something or show up somewhere, you already know that you have to be there so you don't double block, because when you're in front of somebody, if you don't have that on your schedule already, you're most likely going to see a blank area and say yes, because that's what we do, right? We say yes.
Yep.
So I think that's one of the most important things. And secondly, don't overextend yourself. I'm one of those people that I give a lot of energy, so I need to recharge. And I time block time for myself. And I think that's really important. I know a lot of other successful people do that as well. And in the beginning, I didn't do that. And I was finding myself with low energy and then wanting to cancel other things. So if I know that I'm going to block time for myself, or if I have family coming into town and I'm going to work a lot less, then I can look forward to those times.
Yeah, it's like a little treat. I like
Yes,
that.
exactly.
So talk about networking, because I mean, I don't know that I know the intricacies of your business, but just looking at your business, I've got to guess networking is a big part of how you've created your business, how you've blown up so big in such a short amount of time. What are you doing to become one of the biggest, if not the biggest networkers I think I'm seeing right now on the Treasure Coast?
I don't know about all that, but in my previous career, I was affiliated with the Chamber of Commerce. So that was an easy segue. But the difference was a lot of people from the chamber came to the establishment I was working at.
Yeah.
So now I have to go out. And it is very, very different. Networking, when people come to you, obviously you're there and they know you. When you go out, even if you know people, you have to introduce yourself to them.
Yes.
And also take business cards and then friend request them on Facebook. I think that's so important. And I never friend requested people until probably 6 months ago. And
Yeah.
now it's something I love to see what other people are doing,
Yeah.
and I get excited for them as well. So I think that leads to follow up. If you are at networking events and you're just gathering business cards and you're not meeting people, or you're not setting one-on-one connects, you're not really using the maximum potential of what that networking event is. So bare minimum, I'm going to friend request somebody on Facebook. Then if I am interested in getting to know them better, I'm going to set up a meeting for coffee, lunch, whatever it is, so that
Mm.
we can get to know each other better and figure out how we can help each other in
Yes.
the business.
I like that. And I love that intent. And one thing I've noticed with you, I'm going to go out on a limb here and ask you a question. Do you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is?
I don't
Okay,
know.
that really surprises me. He owns VaynerMedia, and he didn't start. It was his dad's wine company. And from memory, I think his dad was making $3 million a year. And Gary came in as a kid. I don't know how old he was, but I'm guessing he was 20, 25 years old. And he started the first ever YouTube channel. It was called Wine Library. And it was just a guy who knows nothing about wine, tasting wine live and giving you his feedback, right? So it was interesting. If you maybe didn't know that much about wine, but you wanted to have a nice night with your husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend, he was just entertaining to watch. So he got that business from 3 million to 60 million in a handful of years. It was really impressive. And then he took off and got into marketing. And his big thing, the thing that attracted me to him, was a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook. And the whole premise of the book is, and realtors are probably the worst with this, right? Realtors want to post my new listing, my open house, things that, man, if I get somebody to say yes to this, I just made a commission, right? I got value. I made money. But really what he says is that's the right hook, right? But you need to jab first, which is giving value to others. So give, ask. And that should be the formula, right? Give 3 times as much as you ask for. Elaine, it's almost refreshing to know you don't know who he is, because I've got an excuse. I do it because he influenced me. You do it because you're just a phenomenal person. But I see you literally with everybody you're with, you talk them up. You find the good in people who do have flaws. You find the silver linings. You take everybody around you and you prop them up above you, and you make everybody feel so amazing. I know you do that, and that leads to
I
a lot
love
of your
to do that.
success. Yeah, so
I
talk
think
about
it's
that.
so much easier to empower and build up other people.
Yes.
And in turn, I find joy and happiness. So it is so great. One of my favorite things to do, and it's always been that way, it's not in real estate, it's always been, is when somebody tells me a goal or a dream, I want to help them attain it. And
Yeah.
it's so much easier for me to help somebody else attain their goals and dreams than to sit down and think about what my goals and dreams are and work towards them. If I'm helping somebody else, mine just fall into line.
And the funny thing is, the more you're helping others reach their goals, the more they're intrinsically going to want to help you reach your goals. It just
Absolutely.
naturally flows. So you've been doing all this networking. Talk about some of the big things that you've been doing. I know you're doing different events. You're connected with different charities. Talk about some of the major.
I go to a lot of events and I assist. I haven't been crazy into event planning since I decided I was going to kind of handpick what I wanted to do. I definitely support numerous events in the community and I love doing that. I run a Treasure Coast Masterminds chapter, which is awesome because I wanted to be in a single industry networking group, and there's always a realtor and there's always realtors waiting. I mean, BNI, I've been on for almost 9 months, the waiting list in 3 different counties, and I haven't even received any type of email, and I follow up periodically. That's how long the wait lists are. So I started the St. Lucie West chapter and just merged Port St. Lucie and St. Lucie West. And I absolutely love it because it's a smaller networking group that I really believe I help provide value and get people out of their shells. And they're speaking, they're doing their 5-minute commercials. It's super exciting to be part of that. So also forming intimate relationships with those people and figuring out ways that I can help them grow their business. In terms of events, I did a charity event for Eating with V, which was in October, and that was awesome and amazing. And then actually, as you know, we're working together. You, Alex, and I with the Treasure Coast Alliance for our event on March 26th, which I'm super excited about. And that event is, am I allowed to talk about it? I've been talking about it.
Whatever you want, yeah. Go nuts.
So it's Carnival on the River, and it's going to be at the EXP office. I'm super psyched. I've probably already told at least 40 people about it.
Yes.
And we are going to be helping the Boys and Girls Club. And I'm super excited about that because when we sat down to brainstorm, I didn't know where I wanted to align my charity focus this year. And I love children. I don't have children yet. And it just seems like a natural thing to help children. So I'm more than excited about this project.
Yeah, and we got really lucky because Will Armstead, who runs the Boys and Girls Club here locally, is one of the best, brightest, hardest working, most connected people that I think I've met in the Treasure Coast. And I was so, I shouldn't say surprised because it's not surprising. But when you got back to me after your meeting with him and said, we've got volunteers and we've got ideas and we've got people and I was like, man, this is really turning into something. So, and I'll tell you too, just as a hats off to you, when you, and Alex sat down and started talking about this, I had something completely different in my head that we were going to do, right? We didn't even have an idea figured out.
No, we had nothing.
And you just like put the brakes on and you're like, whoa, I've got a great idea. And you went nuts with this carnival idea, and I could start seeing it. And you can see the expertise that you've got in this field. And when you think about, hey, if I've got a house that I want to sell, and the gal who can run an event like this comes in and she's taking care of all the organization, the checklist, the systems, getting title, getting the lender, getting the agent, getting the buyer, and put it, I have complete faith. If you can run something like that, you absolutely can sell my house. So bringing that confidence is really impressive, you know? So talk about this networking group you've got. Did you created that group or you took 2 groups? How does that work?
So great question. Treasure Coast Masterminds started in Stewart, and Gary Owen is actually the founder.
Love him.
And he started a Port St. Lucie chapter that while I was in the process of leaving my former job and getting into real estate full time, I made it to the 3rd meeting. And you need to be at 3 consecutive meetings to pledge for your industry. And so there was already a realtor, Caitlin Steele. She's amazing.
Love her.
Yes. And so she was already the realtor there. So it was like, okay, cool. And they had a really big group at the time with many conflicting businesses. So Gary approached me. He said, do you want to start a St. Lucie West or Fort Pierce chapter? And so I did the research, and it just, Francesca from Hilton Garden Inns was amazing. Helped as well to get the space, and it was natural to do a St. Lucie West chapter. So fast forward 6 months, basically the 2 chapters, because they were so close and started at the same time, dwindled a little bit. So we decided to merge the 2 chapters, and we had the first meeting today. What I love about it is it's not just networking, it's networking and masterminds. And we meet twice a month. So before the next meeting, we always pull a business card and you have a one-on-one connect. Yeah. And so I love that because the goal is to connect with as many people as possible. And it kind of forces you to do that. So
Yes.
then in the meeting, you can talk about your connect and give an amazing testimonial for whoever you connected with.
Yeah, I really like that. And networking, I think a lot of anybody, but we're talking realtors here. You get into these groups and you think, man, if I get in, I can get some business. That would be great. But really, it's so much more, man. I mean, I've had people in the networking groups that I've been in connect me to people that I needed connections to, or they help me reach out to somebody in the government who can help me with something, or they get me connected to Will Armstead who can help us with a charitable event, or they get me connected to an event planner. Whatever it is, right? It's not just the business, it's the connections, it's the knowledge, it's all of the great things that you can offer your clients because you know a landscaper, you know a roofer, you know somebody who does flooring, all that stuff. It's so helpful and it makes you look better to be confident in the people that you're promoting, right? So I just love that you're doing it. I think it's the way to do it, and you're doing such a phenomenal job with it. So looking at your first year, you had a big year as a first agent, a year that any first agent would absolutely love. And you've been around enough agents. I'm sure you've heard enough gripes. 87% of agents fail out of the real estate industry within a 5-year span, right? Only 13% make it. Looking at that and looking at the fact that you are obviously crushing it in year one, what one or two things would you suggest to some of these realtors who are having a challenging time early in their career?
That's a great question. So I think building a network of people that know, like, and trust you, and you alluded to that, and you alluded to teamwork. I think that when you are a new realtor, there's so much to learn, and you really can't learn everything at once. So what I did is I looked towards people that were already doing it and successful.
Yeah.
And I met with you a couple of times and you were amazing and very helpful. You have a similar personality to me. If anybody needs help, I'm going to be there to help them. And I think that is so important when you're new because number one, it's scary. For me, I had been in the hospitality industry my entire career and I was confident, I was poised, and now put me in a brand new business. And for a little while, I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But through talking to other people that were successful in the real estate business, I realized my business skills transferred amazingly. And I made those direct connections. So I think that helped me to process it. So number one would be to talk to people that are doing it better than you. Number two would be figure out how to correlate your business that you were previously in into real estate, because I think that's part of the challenge. You want to display that you are a competent realtor that's going to be able to get you into a house or sell your house, but you don't have the experience yet. So how do you transfer that and get someone to trust you with one of the biggest decisions of their lives? And for me, I started to talk about in my mind and then two people, brides and grooms, right? Brides and grooms and are so similar to people that are selling their house, right? It's expectations, right? They want to have the most amazing wedding in the whole entire world, right? Well, a bride and groom has a budget and they have emotions that are attached to it. So it's the same as somebody that's selling the house. They want to get the maximum amount of money for it and they're emotional about it because it has been something near and dear to their heart for however many years.
Yeah.
So I correlated that and it made it a lot easier for me to make the transition. Now, I can also use brides and grooms for buyers. Now, I used to have to convince brides and grooms that I was the person that was going to produce the most amazing wedding and exceed their expectations. Well, with a house, it's tangible. I can definitely get them to know, like, and trust me, but then I get to show them the product. So it correlated so nicely for me that it helped me to become confident in my ability to sell real estate, but also get people to know, like, and trust me.
Yes. And when you talk about networking, I'm going back to networking now. You've been doing this for roughly a year. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Exactly.
So
my first sale was last year, February 1st or February 2nd.
I had Lori on earlier and she said that she did her first deal with you. Is that true?
We did. And neither one of us knew that
Yeah.
each other was brand new. It was
Yeah.
so cool. She was the title agent, and my friend actually was buying his first investment property. So it was all first, and it was so cool.
Yeah, she said the same thing. She loves your personality. She got the same mindset, right? She just wants to grow in her mind. She wants to be good. She wants to help people. I love those people. When
I
she told me
love
that,
Lori,
hmm,
positive and growth minded.
yes. So you've been doing this for a year, and from an outsider's perspective, looking at Facebook, looking at Instagram, looking at your YouTube, you look like one of the leaders or the top folks in networking, right, in the area. So there are plenty of people that have been doing networking in this area for many more than 1 year, right? If they've been doing it for that long, what sets you apart from them? And I'm not trying to put other people down. I'm saying, uh, sometimes, myself included, sometimes you walk in and you don't have that gusto. You don't have that desire to get in front of people and not just help yourself, but help them. What is it that makes you so different coming in 1 year and setting yourself apart so much from some of these people? What are you doing differently in these networking groups?
I think we've said it a few times, and your compliments are so amazing. Honestly, I said this to you earlier, and I can get shy and I can get in my head. And there are some times that I do not want to talk to people. Like, I just give off so much energy that I don't have enough energy. But when I make it about what value can I bring to someone else?
Yeah.
And if I have that mindset and I go into something, what can I put into it? Not what can I get out of it? And what value can I bring to somebody else? I
Yeah.
am always going to have number one, more energy. And then number two, be able to help somebody else and in turn reap the rewards of that. And my goal usually is not to reap rewards. It's usually to get out of myself so I can do something for somebody else because it makes me feel better.
Yes. I've said many times, I think the greediest thing you can do is quit thinking about selling and start thinking about how do I help the person in front of me. It's the greediest thing you
Absolutely.
can do. Yes. So looking at 2022, you've got year one under your belt, you've got some confidence, you've got some expertise, you've got some business. How is 2022 going to look different for you than 2021?
2022 is going to be different for me because I am getting more organized. And when you come into a new business, I would imagine any business is similar, and it's kind of similar to opening a new restaurant. You have to get the policies and procedures into place,
Yep.
and you have to learn what you don't know. And
Yes.
so I have learned a lot over the year, and I need to update a CRM. I need to start doing drip campaigns. And those are things I heard people talking about over here. But because I was already moving, I didn't realize the importance of them. And now I do. I think building a foundation is one of the most important things. And you want your business to work for you. You don't want to keep spinning your wheels. And I think having good policies, procedures, systems in place, that was really challenging for me. And you and I talked about it because I used to put systems in place for, yes, myself to follow, but more so my employees could follow them. Well, now I am the CEO and the
And the
employee. So I
employee.
had to put systems in place for me to follow.
Yep.
And I don't think a lot of business owners or realtors realize that they have to put those systems in place to hold themselves accountable, because otherwise you're going to get into the minutia of the day, the week, the month, whatever it is. And then there's going to be a breakdown in that foundation.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you, I think that awareness of seeing that you're both the CEO and the employee, and you've got to hold yourself accountable. I think that's one of the most defining differences between the 87% who fail out and the 13% who make it. It's so easy. I was just talking with one of my teammates about this the other day, who had a goal, was falling short on the goal. And I kind of felt that I knew the why, but I wanted to dig into it and have them, kind of come to the answer themselves instead of me bluntly saying it. So I was asking a couple questions, but really I got around to, if you've got a standard for yourself and you run out of time, or you see your kids out in the pool and you want to join them, or you've got little Jimmy's baseball game to go to, are you going to the baseball game, or are you finishing your standards because you haven't quite gotten them done yet? Well, I want to spend time with my family. I said, okay, well, when you used to work at wherever, Walmart, Target, McDonald's, it doesn't matter. and you had to sweep the floor before you left. Were you able to leave before you swept the floor? No. Okay, then why are you able to leave right now if you don't finish your job? It's because you're the boss, and you're, as the boss, letting you, the employee, push over you, right? You're a pushover. And so many people will allow that. You are so phenomenal at disciplining yourself, constantly pushing to be bigger and better, always asking questions. Every time I meet with you, it's like it is literally a mastermind. Like you were like, let's sit down. I've got a notebook, I got a pen. Tell me everything. And you are such a sponge. And you do that all the time. I see you doing it. You're doing it all the time. And you grow so fast. And that's no accident. I really do think anybody can do it.
Agreed.
I mean, anybody can do it. And it's nothing magical. It's nothing amazing. It just takes a little bit of discipline. And when you see somebody who's doing it consistently and they just blossom, it's fun to watch. So do you have any words of wisdom? Let's end with this. Words of wisdom from Elaine R Davis for anybody, anything. I don't care what it is. We'll leave it open-ended. And this is what we'll end with.
Words of wisdom. Well, Joe, you already said it, and I'm a sponge. I am so excited to be in a new industry where I can continuously learn and grow. And I'm so excited that there are people that are willing to help me. So my words of wisdom would be ask questions, find people who are doing something better than you or something that you want in their characteristics, and go talk to them, because most successful people want to help you. I'm available to help anyone in any industry. If you think I can help you, call me, text me, whatever. I'm always here. So please ask questions.
I love that. Elaine, I appreciate you coming on today. You are such a treasure. I can't say enough about you. You've become a great friend, and I'm excited to see your 2022.
Thank you so much for having me, Joe. This was my first podcast, so I'm so excited that it was with you, and you're just an amazing person. And thanks for all of the amazing insight, wealth of knowledge that you've given me over the last year.
Absolutely. We love you, bud. Have a great day.
You too.